Hi kids, it's Mrs. Fravel. How are you? Yeah, sounds about right. Me too. Hey, this video is going to just talk about what a CER is. We covered this the first week of school, but whew, wow, that was a long time ago. And there's been a lot going on, right? We were in school, and then some of you weren't here, and then none of us are here. And the last one we did on paper for our CER, but then also online, and there's like 3 different CER assignments per unit. What's going on, man? So I hope that this will clarify some of that for you, okay? So here we go. What is a CER? It's your test, but it's also more than that, okay? So every unit that we talk about in biology will be based around one phenomenon. The plural of phenomenon is phenomena. We will have one phenomenon for each unit of study, and then each unit will be broken down into lessons that have smaller questions that feed into the bigger question, okay? So a phenomenon might be presented as a video, a picture. We might talk about a situation in biology, and we're going to pose what's called a driving question. This is going to be the big overarching story of what's going on in this phenomenon. And that is what you are going to answer for me on your CER to show me what you learned and show me what you know. Okay. It will be, if we're in the room, we would have a driving question board in the back where you can post more questions and talk about that. On Canvas, I will be putting in discussion questions or discussions that I want you to go into and tell me what else do you need to know in order to investigate answering the driving question, okay? So that's the whole goal behind a CER, is answering a question using evidence and then answering smaller questions about specific parts of that phenomenon and asking questions that you don't know you have enough information about, if that makes sense, okay? Okay, so at the beginning of every unit, we'll have what's called the module launch CER. This is the encounter the phenomenon part of the lesson or part of the unit. And what I'll do is I will present to you at that point the phenomenon, what we're studying, and we will ask the question, the driving question for that unit. And this is when you make your first claim. Based on what you see in the phenomenon and based on the knowledge you already have, whether that's stuff you learned already in science in other classes or things that you just know are things, you should answer the question as a claim. I think this is happening, okay? It should describe, hopefully, the relationship that you see in the phenomena, and you can throw in dependent and independent variables. You should answer it like, I believe that this is happening because, or this is happening because of this. Okay, this is similar to a hypothesis that scientists use in the real world. They make claims about what they're studying and what their research is about. And here's the part that I think we're having a little disconnect on. Claims are flexible and they're fluid, and you should be changing and updating your claim as you get more evidence throughout a unit. Okay, if your original claim based on your first encountering the phenomenon, by the middle of the unit, if you're like, well, based on what I've seen so far, I don't know if I was right. I'm going to rewrite this based on what I know. Please do that, okay? I would like to see your thought process, so leave your first claim there and update it in a different color on your CER sheet, which I will show you the CER sheet at the end of this, okay? So these are flexible. Your model, your claim is flexible. And here's the other thing, model. If you are not a big writery person, if you don't love writing stuff, I'm more than happy to have your claim and your reasoning at the end be in the form of a model, a drawing, build something as long as it is showing me what you know. And I'll go through in a minute what that means. I'm fine with that. You can also do this verbally. I can help you by helping you condense your thoughts about your claim into words. You can present your claim to me verbally online during a Google Meet, okay? So how do you back up your claim? Or how do you learn if your claim is valid? Through evidence, and that's the learning part of it. So each lesson, I will be doing a presentation video. Sorry, you guys, with this online format, I have to do lectures because if we were in class, it would be a little different. You guys would be investigating stuff hands-on and together, but thanks COVID, I got a lecture at you. You need to make sure you're watching all of those videos. Come on, I'm hilarious. I'm awesome. You also need to do all of the assignments and read all of the things. Read all of the things. That's the important part. I know you guys are home. It's like, well, I don't want to do this. Just clicky click and put in some answers. Nope. Make sure you're reading all of the assignments and all of the information that I'm giving you, that I'm providing with you, and that you're investigating on your own as well. If I don't give you a piece of evidence that you feel like is missing, if you have a question and you don't feel like I've answered it, either tell me or go find it. Be a scientist. Figure it out, okay? Your evidence is data. This is gathered from your investigations, from readings, from the labs, from my lectures. It is scientific data that you need to write down in your CER sheet in the evidence section. You should include specific sources. Where did you find this information? Where did you get this information? Put in the scientific study if you know what that was, okay? So it can be a paragraph form, but it can also just be a bulleted list of information and data that you got during the lessons for the unit, okay? Reasoning, let's look at reasoning. So this is the actual thing that I will test, that I will grade you on. Okay, this is the important part. This is where you take your claim and you show me how the evidence that you put on your CER ties to your claim, okay? You need to rewrite both your claim and your evidence in the reasoning section and tie them together with words like because, okay? Or this study showed that da-da-da-da-da, which supports my claim by da-da-da-da-da, okay? You need to be specific and detailed. I'm not going to go back and read your evidence and read your claim. When I'm grading your reasoning, it all has to be there. You have to rewrite your claim and then tell me the evidence, show me the evidence that supports your claim, that answers the question posed in the phenomenon, okay? Don't skimp on words here, kids. I love to read. I'll read them all. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so there's some examples that I've put in here for not good and good reasoning. Again, a good example of reasoning, you restate the claim. So for instance, our first unit, our first phenomenon was why are we wearing masks? Okay, during this time of COVID. And this isn't someone's actual reasoning that they did. Their claim was, I believe that we are wearing masks in order to protect ourselves and each other from spreading the coronavirus. Simple, right? That was their claim, and they rewrote it in their reasoning section. And then they tell me why, what the evidence they saw during the lesson that we did on why we're wearing masks, how that evidence supported their claim. They tied it back in. This is what you need to do. Tell me the claim and then tell me the evidence that supports it again and how that evidence supports it, okay? If your reasoning is a one-sentence statement, you'll get a 0. Rewrite your evidence. Okay. So these are the documents you're going to be working with. The CER document, I will try to do a better job of making sure that it says what unit it is, and I will try to do better about putting the question in as well. So you should get this document at the beginning of the unit, and you start using it with that module launch claim and turn it in at that first one. And then of course you will save this document in your biology folder on Canvas so that you can access it throughout the unit and update it as you get more evidence. And then this is also a document that is available to you. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go back. Sorry. So your claim you write here, you should write your initial claim. And then as we go through the unit, you should be putting in any updates. If you want to change your claim, great. Just be sure you type it in a different colored font, leave your old ones so that I can see your thinking process. How did it change? How did your claim change as we went through the unit? And then here's where you list your evidence. Again, I am going to give you so much information, you guys. So much information. If you have one piece of evidence in there, I'm going to go ahead and not give you points on that because I know I've given you more evidence. And if you're only listing one piece of evidence, it probably that you think supports your claim might be wrong. So you might want to revisit that. Okay. So this is where you figure out what you've learned and how does it apply to your claim? And then of course your reasoning, that's where you tie both of these together. And again, when I'm grading this, I will grade your claim, then I will grade your evidence, and then I will grade your reasoning. So both the claim and evidence need to be in the reasoning. I'm not going to go back up and read it again. If you're not showing me the evidence down here and your claim, I'm not going to award you points for it. Okay? Okay. The rubric. Now, if you are like, oh, how do I write? What is this? So this document is available for you. I will show you where to access it in just a sec. You should have it on paper already. I handed it out a couple of times when we were still in the building. But this is where you have a little quick describer of what you should be doing. Okay, yeah. Whew. How does it support the claim? Okay, and there are sentence stems for you to use in those sections. Okay, so you should be able to, when you write your claim, my claim is da 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 da. My claim is wolves change rivers by da da. I believe that the ecosystem of Yellowstone was restored to its original state because wolves da 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 da. Okay, whatever it was, that's how you need to state it. Same with your evidence. One piece of evidence is da 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 da. I'm going to be loosey-goosey on the evidence part. If you just want to throw in facts, that's fine. But this is at least helpful so that you know what kind of evidence you're looking at, okay? So one piece of evidence that supports my claim, that could be a statement from an assignment or from one of my presentations, according to the data/graph/table. You know what? Take a screenshot of that data/graph/table and put it there, okay? And then the reasoning, again, here are some sentence stems for you. You'll restate your claim, and then you can say things like the evidence supports this claim because da, 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 da. The reason for this is, and that's where you'll put in your evidence. And it should be more than one thing. Like I said, if you're giving me one piece of evidence for your reasoning, your claim's probably not thorough enough. Okay? Okay. Whew. Any questions so far? Okay, we're fine. This is fine. Okay. The bottom part of the rubric sheet is how I'm going to grade, what my criteria are for giving you points. You can go ahead and self-score yourself if you want to, but I will be using a rubric that is built into Canvas that you can't put self-scores on. But if you want to, as you're writing and editing your claim, look back down here. Okay, did I make an accurate and complete claim? Would I give myself a 10 on that one? Okay, how did I do on my evidence? Did I provide appropriate and sufficient evidence to support the claim? Maybe I'm a 6 right there. Maybe I should go back up and add more evidence. What did she say in that video? that she did on abiotic and biotic factors, go back and find it. This is the equivalent of studying, you guys. Remember how you used to have to study for a test and you would review all of the information and you would make flashcards and you would have your quizzes? Okay, that's a little different now, but it's still a thing you need to do. You need to make sure that you are still reviewing the information and that you have included all of the information that you need to, okay? And then the reasoning provides accurate and complete reasoning that links evidence to the claim. Have I said enough times that you need to rewrite your claim and your evidence and link them together? I think I've said that like 6 times in the last 15 minutes. So if you really think you can give yourself a 10 on that and I give you a 5, come talk to me and let's figure it out where there's a disconnect, okay? Whew, all right, man. What else? Where do you find all this crap? So there's a module in Canvas called CER Forms, Rubrics, and Examples. It is above our first coronavirus CER that we did. And this first section in it is going to be this video that I'm making right now. And then these are good and bad examples back from the COVID lesson. I don't know if I'll leave those up because it's in this video. There is your CER rubric right there. You can access that rubric right there anytime you need it. You should have it in your drive. It should be there because you already opened it at some point. But if you can't find it because you didn't make a biology folder, there it is. Okay. And then the CER sheet, that is this one. So if you lost yours between the encounter and the final turn-in, go get another one, okay? Okay. I think that's all. Feels like it should be all. I feel like I've harped on you. Don't panic. Just make sure you're following instructions and that you're doing all of the stuff that you need to do for every unit, one step at a time, okay? This is not easy, doing all of this online. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. You just have to remember one thing at a time, one class at a time, do it every day until we come back. And I hope we can come back soon. I miss you guys. I miss your faces. I feel like I didn't get to know them well enough. So your CER is important. If you don't feel like you're doing it correctly, please come see me in a Google Meet. My office hours are posted on the homepage. I'll have a live class every week. Always come ask questions, okay? You are still in school, even though you're online. Now, go look at your CER for the current unit, whatever that is. See what your feelings are. See where your claim is. Have you listed enough evidence? And are you ready to tie your reasoning in? Okay? Let me know if you need help. Be good. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. And wear your masks because we saw a lot of evidence as to why we should be wearing them.